Hello everybody, I'm SolitaryFalcon, and today I'll be ranking the villain bosses in LEGO Batman the video game. Now I'm not counting the bosses in the villain missions and only focusing on the hero missions featuring the iconic Rogues gallery. To put into perspective, you have Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Killer Moth, Penguin, Catwoman, Joker, so many great bosses in this game. So I'll be ranking these on how engaging the boss battles are. I'll also take into account the fun factor, enjoyability and the challenge I have in fighting these bosses. Do let me know in the comments your favourite boss in LEGO Batman, and if you've enjoyed today's video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you want more LEGO content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Right then, let's get into it. At number 15 is Harley Quinn from Little Fun at the Big Top. So this is probably the longest fight in the game, as all you're doing is chasing her in a circle as you go around and around and around. I'm not even joking, this is the actual footage of the game. And once she stops, you have to hit her and then keep doing this on repeat. She will call in henchmen to spice things up. It is certainly the weakest boss fight in the game, but if you enjoy running around in circles, then you will like this boss. Personally, I'm not a fan. I will give it credit for the environment and background, but Harley Quinn is the weakest boss fight in LEGO Batman the video game. At number 14 is Killer Croc. Now don't let his large number of hearts fool you in thinking this boss fight is difficult. It's not. All you have to do is avoid the objects Killer Croc throws at you, and when he comes over, just keep hitting him and repeat. It is incredible though, the number of items that get flushed down the sewers. The people of Gotham must be rich if they're flushing televisions down the drain. This boss doesn't have the same annoyance as Harley Quinn, but Killer Croc is not as memorable a boss compared to the others, and that's why it is lower down the list. At number 13 is our first vehicle boss, Two-Face's armoured truck. So the level as a whole is pretty much a repeat, where you tow the vehicles to the police helicopter, and this boss follows the same model. Keep shooting at the truck until it's disabled, so you can tow it with the Batmobile to the helicopter who drops a bomb on it, and you have to repeat this 3 times. Not to mention there are a few enemies around. It was actually a small area to move, so it's not as enjoyable when moving around. I don't think Two-Face's armoured truck is remembered as some of the other bosses in the game, which is why it is the worst of the vehicle bosses. At number 12 is Scarecrow's plane from Flight of the Bat. So this one will get a mixed reception. On co-op play, this boss is quite fun, but if you're like me and play this on solo, then there is a tough boss. So you have to use the Batcopter to grapple the plane, while the other player uses the Batwing to shoot the purple missiles. Although there are no indicators at the start, so you do end up flying around until you figure it out. I do think the environment is spectacular, with it showcasing the scale of Gotham City in the sky. And if you're playing this on single player, then having to switch between characters is not as straightforward. But if you play this boss with a friend, then this becomes the easiest fight in the game. But on solo, it's not as easy to do. Scarecrow's plane is a mixed boss, but an interesting one to play through. At number 11 is our final vehicle boss, Penguin's submarine. So this boss takes us onto the open seas of Gotham and is not too challenging to fight. So you cannot attack him directly until you've removed the heavy armour, and you do this by using the bat boat to grapple a bomb into the submarine. But you have to do it in a certain order, so you cannot simply throw the bombs at it, which makes this boss different to other vehicle bosses in LEGO games, and something I give them credit for. And once the submarine is down to its last 2 hearts, it's simply a case of shooting at it until the end. I do think this is one of the best vehicle bosses in the game, and having to defeat him in a sequence is something different that I really enjoyed, but it just misses out on the top 10. Entering the top 10 now, and next up is Catwoman from the level There She Goes Again. So you actually fight Catwoman twice in this level. The first time she only has 4 hearts, but is in a small location, and it is a straightforward fight. The second time she has 10 hearts, and is constantly moving around different areas as you try to hit her, and this boss can get quite tedious at times, but it does work with Catwoman's style, so just keep hitting her and this fight is no problem. Plus, the environment on the rooftops of Gotham is visually impressive. A frustrating boss, but Catwoman is better than the others we have seen so far. At number 9 is the Mad Hatter from the level Joker's Home Turf. Like many of the bosses in the game, this fight has different layers to it. So after hitting him, Mad Hatter runs away and starts dropping bombs at you. To get to him, you have to reach these platforms where you and your partner have to step on these buttons to drop Mad Hatter into the toxic waste. Don't worry, he uses his hat as a propeller to survive the drop, and he hypnotizes you, so you have to switch characters to hit him. This boss works really well in co-op play, but my main problem is the environment doesn't match the character. The entire level is set in Ace Chemicals, and I just think if it had been an Alice in Wonderland setting, then this boss would be much higher up on the list. But Mad Hatter is a decent boss. At number 8 is Clayface from the first level of the game You Can Bank on Batman. So this level holds a special place in my heart, as this was my first ever LEGO game, and the boss fight is satisfying for an opening. You hit Clayface a few times before he runs into the bank and locks himself in, and alongside fighting a few henchmen, you have to use Batman's demolition suit to blow up the silver objects, and finish him by using your Batarang on the 3 valves to drop him into the cage. It's not a challenging boss, but you would expect that from your first one. You Can Bank on Batman is definitely memorable, and the Clayface boss completes a solid opening level to the game. At number 7 is Penguin and Catwoman from the level Penguin's Lair, one of the worst levels in the game. So the final boss of chapter 2 is actually one boss, as you don't have to worry about Catwoman, as unlike in a fight in the level There She Goes Again, she is irrelevant and is simply here to be a nuisance. So the main objective is that you have to direct penguins towards the machines and use your Batarang to give Penguin a bit of a shock. I do think this is different to other bosses in the game, which I do give them credit for. Not to mention, I really like when Penguin joins the fight, he starts flying around with his umbrella. Very much reminds me of Mary Poppins. It's a shame the entire level is a massive disappointment, but this boss fight is one of its only bright sparks. At number 6 is the Joker and Harley Quinn boss, from the final hero level to the top of the tower. So there are in fact 3 bosses to face. At the beginning of the level, you take on Harley Quinn, and all you do is spray her with a water cannon 3 times, including building the final one from the other 2, until she runs into the cathedral. This is not as annoying as when you face her in the level Little Fun at the Big Top. And once you've had your take of 80s nostalgia, you have to do some puzzles to knock Harley Quinn and Joker out of the bells, and then the Joker calls in a helicopter and you have a return of the water cannon. It does get annoying having to wait for him to come around so you can shoot at him, and the goon shows no expression at all. Just give us a smile. Once you've taken out the helicopter, you face Joker, who electrocutes you, so you have to switch characters to take him out. Reminds me of a boss from another LEGO game. And I would say this boss scores highly because it has really good co-op play throughout. And who can forget the final cutscene where Batman stands there in such a proud stance. This is a worthy boss battle to end LEGO Batman, the video game. Into the top 5, and this boss fight goes to Poison Ivy. The great thing about this boss is you don't fight her straight away, and there's different stages to it. Poison Ivy is inside these giant plants and you have to fight her minions, and I really like the appearance of these henchmen. So you have to lure Poison Ivy out by building these bombs to destroy the plants, so she comes out after the second plant is destroyed, but she's completely invulnerable until you take out the third plant, and then it is simply hit her and the boss ends. What makes this boss stand out is we haven't really seen a fight like this appear in other LEGO games, and I think Poison Ivy is such a memorable boss. At number 4 is Mr. Freeze from an Icy Reception. So an Icy Reception is certainly one of the top levels in the game, and this boss can be challenging. You have to hit Mr. Freeze a few times, but watch out because he will use his freeze gun with devastating effect. And when he runs away, you have to build a cannon to blow up the fan holding you back, as well as use Robin's magnet suit to flip some switches. On top of this, you have tons of henchmen to keep you occupied, and I just think this boss is well balanced with it being challenging enough to be fun. But that ice cannon is so deadly. This is a great boss fight, and Mr. Freeze is the best character to play as. At number 3 is Man-Bat from Zoo's Company. So while chapter 2 is the worst of the hero chapters, Zoo's Company is the best level by far, and the opening cutscene with Man-Bat is a proper jump scare. This boss sees you have to drag Man-Bat from the sky by building a giant horn and turning it to play sound. To use his weakness against him is a smart move by the developers. Alongside this, you get to fight some enemies while avoiding Man-Bat's bombs that he drops from the sky. Compared to the other bosses in the game, this is one of 2 where you have to use their weakness against them, and we haven't seen this often in LEGO games. Zoo's Company is a great level, and the Man-Bat boss is amazing. At number 2 is Killer Moth from the level Into the Dark Knight. So Into the Dark Knight is seen by many as one of the best levels in the game, as the disco floor alone brings back so many great memories. In terms of a boss battle, you have to lure Killer Moth into the light because, you know, he's a moth. It sounds cliche, but it works. You have to use Batman's demolition suit and Robin's technology suit to turn the generators on, and once you flick the switches and he has touched the light, you'll be able to hit him when he reaches the ground. This is one of the more engaging bosses, and it's great that Killer Moth gets a moment in the spotlight. At number 1 is Riddler and Two-Face from the final level in chapter 1. So the first fight is with Two-Face, where he floods the room with toxins and you have to hit him before he runs away. You then have to use Robin's vacuum suit, build a boat, reach him before following Two-Face through the vault, where you have to fight enemies and avoid the traps on the floor, before making your way inside for the final fight with Riddler and Two-Face. You finish off Two-Face from the previous fight and then take on the Riddler. So you have to take out the laser cannon by building these mirrors to deflect the lasers before you take on the Riddler along with some of his henchmen. But, in a twist, the Riddler revives and controls Two-Face, so you have to fight him and the Riddler at the same time. Alongside the level being excellent, having a top tier boss fight cements Riddler and Two-Face as the best boss in LEGO Batman, the video game. So that was my ranking of the villain bosses in LEGO Batman the video game. Do let me know in the comments your favourite boss in LEGO Batman, and if you've enjoyed today's video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and if you want more LEGO content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope you have an amazing day, and hope to see you all very soon.